Hey Aries, here's a quick look at your spread before we dive into it, and then you'll kind of see how the cards shuffled out and ended up in this position in the first place. Okay, we'll see you when we see you there. Hi Aries, let's take a look at your weekly spread for the week of Sunday, August 17th. Please check the description box for everything you need to know, including a place where you can do the super comprehensive and free natal chart to find out your rising moon and Venus sign. My name is Ashley Dawn Watson. I've been doing tarot since I was 14 years old, so for like 26 years. I just put up a TikTok so that I could drive more traffic over here, where I'm doing just like little tiny 1 minute type things. Just so you have a heads up on that, I can't get a blue check mark over there because like I don't have 5 crazy news stories about me from crazy news places, news outlets. So I'm just not that interesting. But it does exist. The link for that is over in the channel description. And the September general reads will be out, the monthlies will be out next week and a half-ish. So please stay tuned for those as well. We are going to do a 9-card spread for you using the Botticelli Tarot. So let's get started for you. One more shuffle and then we'll do it to it. Okie dokie. Twist for fairness for you. That was not smooth. These cards are getting on somehow. Okay, Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. What do we have for you? By the way, only take flippers and jumpers, just so you know. I love that happened right then at that point. What do we have in the past for Aries coming into the week? And one more for the past energies for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Okay, well, I am not taking these, but this one slid right into line, so that's what we are going to take. Okay, so we have the Knight of Swords in the reverse with the Lovers in the reverse and the Page of Cups in the upright. So this is the choice, and this is somebody having made a choice. Gemini energy on the Lovers there. This could have been something that happened during Sagittarius season. It is a Gemini card, but because we are looking at timings, I'm going with, because it's a reverse, the inverse of Gemini, which is Sagittarius season. Again, another Gemini card here as well. 2 Geminis in the reverse here with the Knight of Swords in the reverse. Not wanting to act impulsively on something, not wanting to be that guy irresponsibly running around on a horse, lopping people's heads off. So trying to take slow, methodical action on something as opposed to quicksilver, intense, impulsive, irresponsible action, but you are strategically and methodically trying to take your time choosing a lover, having chosen that lover in the recent past. There is a beautiful small communication that you are making about it, or you're apologizing to somebody that you made this choice instead of another choice. This can be apologies or just sweet little, I almost want to say sweet nothings, so like whispering sweet nothings into somebody's ear, but it is a small, tiny little communication. Could also be water sign children, but that's what it looks like in the recent past. It's a very valiant, small emotional communication here. So it's almost as if it might not be something that's a super huge choice in the love department just yet, simply because you are taking your time with it in the recent past. But because you are moving super slow with it, I don't expect anything larger than a Page of Cups. So if you're one of those people who is taking your time with something, being like, hey, want to go out for coffee? It sounds like that. Hey, want to go out for coffee? Not, the big sweeping lovely gestures, right? Shuffling backwards for you now, which is really interesting. In the present week, what do we have? Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Mind you, this could also be somebody doing this to you. Starting out super small, super slow, but trying to do so because they have made a choice. And they want to be responsible with their choices that they're making in love. What else? One more. We've got 2, by the way. Okay. So next we have the Queen of Cups in the reverse, not necessarily following your intuition so much. Cancer, Cancer feminine energy with the Six of Wands in the reverse and then the Six of Pentacles in the reverse. So what's happened here, it looks to be Cancerian energy. And if we were looking at timings, you could be looking back to when you didn't follow your intuition during Capricorn season about something during this week. But this is also Cancer energy. If we're looking at timings, like I'd said before, we'll be looking at the inverse of it because it is in the reverse. But in and of itself, not feeling super attached to your intuition, feeling super detached from your intuition, detached from family, out of touch with family. And also on top of that, just not feeling super emotional. It could be emotional to the point of volatility, though. Also could be on the other extreme where you're feeling over emotional to the point of irrationality about something there. With it, we have this Six of Wands, which shows loss. You could be feeling emotionally volatile about a loss of some sort, feeling like there's a lack of triumph during this week. You're losing out on something. It could be something that you should have followed your intuition on, but you didn't, and now you've lost out on something that you normally would have expected to be triumphant in. And as a result, it is throwing you off kilter with the Six of Pentacles in the reverse. This is a Libra card. Normally, though, what we do see in the upright version of this is balance, equilibrium of give and take in between two individuals. So when we have it in the reverse, and especially following this card of loss and not following one's intuition and being over emotional, we see how there has been loss associated with that. And now somebody's feeling totally off kilter, out of balance, having to rely on somebody else, take more than give, or give more than take. So one person here, if it is a connection, we're looking at somebody was over emotional, completely lost out on something because they didn't follow their intuition. There's the loss in and of itself, or the feeling like one has lost something. And then somebody having to kind of pick up the slack in a connection of two individuals. So there's an imbalance of, investment of time, energy, effort, or even monetary there with that. Moving into the future for you, Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What do we have after this week for you? King of Wands, Leo, but a firm-handed leader, very decisive and confident, typically. Could be dealing with a Cancer, Leo, cusp individual when it comes to this loss or the emotional volatility. It could be a loss suffered at their hands, at a Leo's hands. Something that they wrote down. Or they're writing something to you. The Leo's writing something to you in the future. Rather emotionally charged, I want to say. About the loss, about a loss. But they're very volatile about it. We have the Queen of Wands. There you go. There you are. Yeah, King of Wands, Queen of Wands, sweet mates there. So it definitely a Leo communicating to you about the loss and about the imbalance in a relationship. And why they feel there's imbalance in a relationship. See how forlorn you look? Tell me more in the future after this week. It is just a week of energy, so it could be anything. Your dog ate your homework, well, it's not really school time anyway for like college kids and stuff. Something got into the garbage and you're out there having to do the garbage, pick up all the garbage off the ground because, an animal got into the garbage because you put it out too early, and you're always the one who has to deal with it or something like that. And there's that imbalance or the feeling of loss because something something isn't working right. But I don't know. It could be that mundane. It could be bigger than that. Who knows? There's something about your intuition or not following your intuition, or somebody else not following their intuition. There's an emotionally charged situation, though. And moving into the future, again, I feel like there's a Leo individual reaching out to you about it, to communicate about the loss. And you're sitting there like, do you see how unimpressed their face looks? Sorry. This is normally an extremely nurturing Aries individual who leads quite confidently, as well as the King of Wands. However, you know, they do so from a space of what they've learned over time. Very nurturing, very, they add warmth to the home space, much like a Taurus would. They love animals as well, but there's a lack of balance there. You're actually feeling like it's imbalanced with Queen of Swords in the reverse. Oh, this is a court case being lost, especially since we have a Libran pentacle in the reverse. Somebody is give and take in a situation with the Queen of Swords underneath it, Libra energy. Queen of Swords in the reverse. You're looking at, although this is a Libra card, we can also look at this as being Aries season. But having the Leo and the Aries together here suggests that there's a loss, and we have a court loss where there's money being put out to something because something wasn't equitable. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. Sorry. But you know, at the same time, we always have to remember most tarot, 95% of tarot is not, you're going to fall in love tomorrow and win the lottery. It really isn't. But yeah, that Queen of Swords in the reverse, there could be an upset Libra individual. But normally when I see it paired with like a Six of Pentacles in the reverse and a Six of Wands, that says to me there's a court case that's been lost because somebody didn't follow their intuition, or there's emotional volatility attached to a loss where there's inequity in a situation. But because we have this Queen of Swords in the reverse, there could be a decision or a ruling that's meant to be impartial, and you're on the losing side of that decision. Has to do with a Leo individual reaching out to you about that decision. And you might actually figure very strongly in the decision-making process when it comes to this. It's very visceral, though, and very impartial. But it doesn't weigh out in somebody's favor here. Probably the person who's being emotionally volatile during this week. Okay, Aries, what signs are you dealing with during this week as well? There's just a decision that's been made, and I don't think it went in your favor. It doesn't necessarily have to be you who's the one who's like really paying the price, but it could be that you I'm getting the feeling as if you provided your verdict or you provided your verdict or what you wanted to happen or what your decision was, and that wasn't the decision that was arrived at, and you disagree with the decision. You don't think, because it doesn't weigh in your favor in some way. And it feels like there's a Leo Cancer cusp individual here who's extremely over emotional that ends up on the losing side of it because they didn't follow their intuition about something. They'll be reaching out to you in the following week about it. And then you're going to have to deal with the fallout of it. Okay. Signs you're dealing with. We have Scorpio, Sagittarius, Cancer. The Cancer landed right on that loss. Right smack dab in the middle of the Six of Wands in the reverse. And then we have another Scorpio here as well. So more than likely, yeah, you know, what is Scorpio rule? Death, taxes, rebirth, transformation, sexuality. But yeah, also could have to do with the partner's money. But I'm just starting to, you know, study astrology a lot more. Anyway, That's what I have for you, Aries. Hope everything works out to your benefit. It's just a weekly reading. Again, like I said, into the next week, please go ahead and wait for the monthlies for September. And we'll see you when we see you next. Thanks. Bye.